The 1980s were a wild time. Neon lights, the Cold War, and a booming drug trade that devastated American communities. But what if I told you that the U.S. government wasn't just fighting the drug war, but was actually involved in fueling it? Today, we're breaking down one of the most controversial scandals in American history, the Iran-Contra affair, a secret operation that linked the CIA to arms smuggling, Nicaraguan rebels, and the crack cocaine epidemic that tore through U.S. cities. And at the center of it all, a man named Freeway Ricky Ross, the kingpin who unknowingly helped fund a covert war. Let's dive in. Section 1. The Iran-Contra Scandal, Guns, Drugs, and Secrets. It all started with a war in Central America. During the 1980s, President Ronald Reagan's administration was obsessed with stopping the spread of communism. One of their biggest targets? The Sandinista government in Nicaragua, which had overthrown a U.S.-backed dictator. Reagan's solution? Arm and fund a rebel group called the Contras, a right-wing militia that was accused of human rights abuses. But there was one big problem. Congress had made it illegal to support the Contras by passing the Boland Amendment. So, what did the Reagan administration do? They went off the books. The U.S. secretly sold weapons to Iran. Yes, the same Iran that had taken American hostages just a few years earlier. The profits from those arms sales were then funneled to the Contras in Nicaragua. This illegal operation became known as the Iran-Contra affair. But what does this have to do with drugs? Well, while the U.S. was sending guns to the Contras were shipping something else back, cocaine. Section 2. The CIA and the cocaine pipeline. The Contras needed money, and the cocaine trade was booming. Instead of stopping it, the CIA turned a blind eye, allowing drug traffickers to flood American cities with tons of cocaine in exchange for financial support for the rebels. Enter Freeway Ricky Ross, a major player in this story. Ross was a drug kingpin in Los Angeles, responsible for moving hundreds of millions of dollars in crack cocaine. Federal prosecutors estimate that Freeway Ricky Ross made over $900 million in gross revenue and almost $300 million in profits from selling cocaine between 1982 and 1989. Adjusted for inflation, this is equivalent to over $2.7 billion in gross revenue and over $1.1 billion in profits in 2023. But here's the twist. His supplier was Oscar Danilo Blandon, a Nicaraguan smuggler with direct ties to the Contras. Blandon admitted that his drug profits were helping fund the Contra war effort. And the CIA? They knew about it but did nothing to stop it. Some argue they actively allowed it to happen because it benefited their covert war. The result? A crack epidemic that devastated Black and Latino communities across the U.S., while the government waged a war on drugs that disproportionately targeted the very people affected by the crisis. Section 3. How the story came to light. For years, this scandal stayed buried until 1996, when journalist Gary Webb published a groundbreaking exposé titled Dark Alliance in the San Jose Mercury News. Webb's investigation revealed the connections between the CIA, Nicaraguan drug traffickers, and the U.S. crack epidemic, with Freeway Ricky Ross as a key figure. His reporting sent shockwaves through the country, forcing the CIA to respond. At first, they denied everything. But in 1998, a government report confirmed that the CIA was aware of drug trafficking operations and had deliberately ignored them. Despite this, no major government officials faced real consequences. Instead, Gary Webb was discredited by mainstream media, his career was destroyed, and he later died under suspicious circumstances, officially ruled as suicide. The Iran-Contra affair wasn't just about illegal arms deals. It was about how the U.S. government's obsession with foreign wars led to the destruction of American communities at home. The crack epidemic, mass incarceration, and the war on drugs were all shaped by these secret dealings, leaving millions of lives ruined while those responsible walked free. So what do you think? Was this just a case of bad decisions, or did the government know exactly what they were doing? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into history's biggest cover-ups.